Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful Aquarium Online Academy. My name is Jen, and I am coming to you from our glorious Shark Lagoon webcam that we have right here. This is actually a current view of what our sharks are doing right now, alongside of me, myself, Jen. Now, joining me today in the studio is not just myself, but there is an invisible force behind me, or I guess technically in front of me, and that is my friend Sergio. And so he's going to be helping to kind of showcase a lot of what we're seeing here. Now, friends, this class is all about sharks, and so I'm very excited to talk about sharks along with you. But if you happen to have any questions about sharks, you're always welcome to go on ahead and ask right down here, 562-286-1838. Also, if you maybe just have shark facts that you want to share along too, we would love to hear from you. But you're also welcome to email us down below at live@lbaop.org. It is currently 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 11th. That's wild. That's already February. And so between 10 and 10:30 is when we're going to get a chance to really kind of answer any of those text questions that do come in live. Otherwise, emailing us is going to be the better way. All right, friends. So I'm going to step off the screen right now so you can get a view of our Shark Lagoon webcam. Oh, it looks like it got a little bit more sunny because now we can see the sun coming on through. Now, today we are all going to be shark explorers and shark scientists, which means that we are going to be using our observational skills, which means we're going to be mainly using our eyes to be able to take notes of what kind of things that we see. So, with that, what are some things that you notice? It could be colors, it could be shapes, it could be animals, it could be the way that animals move, or maybe just kind of what you're seeing all around. Like, for instance, I noticed that there's a sandy bottom right here, right? So in our Shark Lagoon, I'm seeing a lot of sand. I'm also seeing how these coral pieces right here are kind of far apart from one another, huh? That almost looks like a cave that we have right there. And believe it or not, it is. It's where our sea turtle likes to hang out and call home. I also noticed that there's fish in here, small fish. But I'm also noticing, whoa, that there are sharks in here too. I guess it is called Shark Lagoon, so we do hope to see some sharks from time to time, right? I also noticed that our water is pretty clear in this exhibit too. Not that I expect dirty water, but here off of Southern California, our beaches, our waters are actually quite what we like to call murky, right? They're not very clear, like you might imagine a tropical place like Hawaii, for instance. So here we have nice clear water, and with all these corals, we can actually take a pretty good guess that the water here might be kind of on the warm side. Those are a lot of things to be able to take note, of our Shark Lagoon. Now, friends, we're going to be focusing mainly on sharks, but towards the end of our class today, we're going to talk about why sharks are important in their homes, in their habitats of where they live. Now, believe it or not, there are over 400 different kinds of sharks in the world, and they all live in different habitats or homes. And so we're just going to focus in to start off with some of our sharks here within our Shark Lagoon. But more important, since we're talking about sharks, well, let's go on ahead and figure out what makes a shark a shark. So let's go ahead and watch them just for another few seconds to give you some inspiration about what makes a shark a shark. Well, friends, let's go on ahead, and I know that one way to get a better idea of, understanding an animal is by drawing it. So we're going to go on ahead and get a chance to draw a shark together, if you'd like. So if you have a piece of paper, you're welcome, and like a pen or a pencil, you're welcome to go on ahead and draw along with, but you totally don't have to. You can just watch me draw a shark, and we could talk about all the parts of that shark together. And so the first part that I want to focus on our shark, oops, I think I might be upside down here. All right, oops. There we go, is by basically making kind of like a, I don't know, an oval shape, I guess. I almost think of it as kind of like a flat football or a flat lemon that we have right here. But this is going to be our shark body that we have right here. Now, shark bodies are kind of football-y shaped, and that's because it helps them to go through the water really quickly. But how can we go on ahead and make this like sad little football look a little bit more like a shark? Well, I know for me, eyes are definitely an important part of an animal to also help you figure out which way is the front part of the shark and which way is the back part of the shark. So let's go on ahead and draw in some eyes. Whoop, there we go. Does it look sharky enough yet? Not quite. Let's go on ahead and maybe add some teeth, right? Because when I think about sharks, I think about their teeth. So, actually, you know what? I'm going to make my shark a little bit more plump. All right. Choop. Choop. There we go. We'll draw that eye back. And I'm going to erase a little bit right here. And I'm going to add a very smiley shark. Da-da-da. And here's my happy shark that I have so far. All right, but right now it just kind of looks like a potato with an eyeball and some teeth. It's pretty cute, I must say, though I am biased since I drew it. But we are still missing some key pieces of a shark. Are there any other features that come to mind when you think about a shark? Well, I know for me, one thing that pops into my head is that top fin on top, right? That we maybe see kind of cruising through the water, right? And we're like, oh, look, I think that's a shark out in the water. So we're going to go on ahead and draw that top fin. Okay, so back to our drawing here. Maybe I'll stick it right over here. And boop. There we go. Now this top fin, friends, is known as the dorsal fin. Dorsal fin. All right, so remember how we talked about a shark being kind of football shaped? Now, believe it or not, if we go on ahead and we imagine this shark as a football and we are throwing it through the air, I guess we throw a football through the air, probably a better analogy, right? That football, if you throw it properly, is going to spin, right? To go really fast through the air. Well, our shark's body is actually kind of built in the same way as a football in the shape of it. So if it didn't have this top fin right here, this dorsal fin, it would spin, potentially, if it was going through the water, kind of like a football, which I think would make a shark very dizzy. So this dorsal fin, this top fin, is great to kind of keep the body of our shark in balance. So dorsal fin, great fin to have, very important. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. All right, now we need other parts to our shark. And if we had to go ahead and think about what a shark looks like, I'm going to have my friend Sergio put up a shark that we kind of think of as like, yes, that is a good-looking traditional shark. Aha, here we go. Our gray reef shark right here. So this is probably what you think about when you're like, yes, this is a good-looking shark, right? Very traditional in its sharky appeal. One of my favorite parts to it is its eyeball right here. Sharks actually have a lot of different shaped eyes, and this one almost reminds me of like a button eye. It's so very cute. I love it. But we already have our eyes, and we already have our little mouth. We have our dorsal fin, right? That top fin that we drew in there. Are there any other things that would make a shark a little bit more sharky? Well, if we're thinking about that back fin, right? That's definitely something that I think about when I think about sharks. And these side fins too. So let's go on ahead and add some of these side fins and that back fin. And then it'll look a little bit less like a football lemon thing. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add that back tail fin. And it kind of looks like 2 triangles. So here's one triangle right here, another triangle. And then, hey, I think a lot of its fins are triangles, aren't they? I'm going to add, excuse me, one of the side fins here. I'm going to zoom out on my sharky friend at the moment, and we're going to be focusing our attention on these 2 fins. One right here the other one right here. I'm going to go on ahead and label them so you know what they are. We'll just call this the tail fin. It also goes by caudal fin, but we'll just say tail fin. And this one is the pectoral fin. All right, there we go. So we have our dorsal fin, or our dorsal fin, the top fin. You all want to show me your dorsal fin together. Very nice. And then we have our pectoral fin, and then we have our tail fin right here. Now I'm gonna have us go back to Shark Lagoon real quick to really kind of get a better understanding. Oh, our Ray is down there. That's pretty cool to see. Wow, she's beautiful. Sorry, I got distracted there from some of our beautiful animals. Let's go ahead and let's watch how our sharks swim and see if we can figure out which tail they use to swim with, and then which tail or which fins that they also might get a chance to maybe help them figure out the direction that they're going in. I may have given it away, but which fin does it use to swim, and then which fins does it use to kind of help point out the direction that it wants to go? Well, if you're noticing that it's that tail fin, that back fin that's using to swim and to really push itself along, you're right. We can go on ahead and see some of these sharks all the way in the back here, but they are using that tail fin right there to be able to move and push themselves through the water. So if you go on ahead and you make your tail fin with me, you can go on ahead and move it from side to side, and that's how these sharks move. They're able to just push themselves through the water. Now, if we go on ahead and we look, right, those side pectoral fins, if you want to make them with me, right? So now you have your pectoral fins as a shark, and you are just basically holding them still for the most part, and you're just kind of moving from side to side to help figure out which direction do I want to go. Do I want to go this way? Kind of like a plane. Do I want to go the other way, right? You're able to kind of steer with these pectoral fins. So again, our tail fin, right, our caudal fin, is used to be able to swim. And then all of those side fins, the pectoral fins, are used to help our shark to steer. That's pretty cool. All right. Now, we are getting close to finishing up what makes our shark a shark. But there's another part that we are missing. So, it's looking pretty okay, but there are some parts that are missing. And any guesses to what that might be? Oh, I think I can think of one. Maybe you can too? And that would be the gills on our shark, huh? Because our shark definitely needs to breathe. But how many gills do we need to add to our shark? If only there was a picture to reference. Aha! Here's a good one, right? Here's our typical shark right here. And we can actually see the gills really easily. And if you want to count them with me, we can figure this out together. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gills, or gill slits in our shark, because the gills are actually on the inside of our shark. But here we can see the gill slits right here, where the water can kind of move through them to be able to get the oxygen from the water. Now, these sharks, they can live underwater forever, right? They don't have to come up to get air. But we, on the other hand, we always have to be breathing air because we're land animals, right? So what is something in us that helps us to be able to breathe that air? Our lungs. Well, the gills are the same thing, basically, for our fish, or our fish and our sharks right here, right? So this is a special adaptation, a feature on our animal that really helps them to survive, you know? And so thinking about the lungs are our adaptation that help us to breathe. And here we can see those gills really moving, right? And so that's an adaptation that helps these sharks to be able to breathe underwater. So let's go on and back to our picture and let's add those 5 gill slits. Now, friends, believe it or not, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not all sharks have 5 gills. Most do. But there is a shark called the 6-gilled shark. And the 6-gilled shark has how many gills do you think? Yep, 6. And there's another shark called the 7-gilled shark that has 7 gills. But for the most part, on average, you're going to have those 5 gill slits right there to help our shark to be able to breathe. Now, there are a few other features that are trickier to see on an actual shark. So I'm going to draw them not in black, but I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to choose maybe like a lighter color. Let's see what I have here for my choices. I might actually just make it pink. Now, on our shark, a lot of times, there is something called a lateral line. Now, add that in. And on this lateral line, it actually helps our sharks and fish, other fish have it too, to help them to be able to sense pressure, water pressure around them. So like if we think about like a school of sardines, right? Or small school of fish and how they all move in the same direction together, you're like, how do they do that? And that, the secret behind that, my friends, is actually the lateral line. It's like a little, almost invisible line on fish that helps to be able to sense the pressure. So that way they kind of naturally know, oh, I feel that my friend is going in this direction. I better go in that direction too. Or, oh no, my friend switched direction. I'm going to switch that direction too. And so sharks go on ahead and have that lateral line as well. And the last thing that's really cool, that's a special sense for sharks, is they have almost like little very teeny tiny dots on their face called ampullae of Lorenzini. I'm going to spell it out. You do not have to remember this. But for those friends that really like their science words, here you go. And if we think about it, right? Animals generally have 5 senses. We can see. What else can we do? We can touch. We can smell. We can taste. Yum, yum, yum. And we can hear, right? So those are our 5 senses. And sharks pretty much have those too. They can kind of hear. But the special 6th sense that they have is actually being able to sense electricity in the water. They can sense electrical heartbeats, actually. So if there's a fish that's hiding underneath the sand, they can go on ahead and cruise above it and realize, oh my goodness, there is a fish underneath the sand right here because I can sense the electricity that's coming off of its heartbeat. Wow, pretty incredible, right? Now, sharks can also kind of smell. They have something called nares that help them to be able to figure out, what the scents are like. But the breathing is different than the smelling, if you will, right? The breathing, again, is through those gills that we have on our fish right there. So this is pretty much what makes a shark, are all of these different features on it. Its teeth, its eyes, its different fins that it has, the ampullae of Lorenzini, that lateral line, and all of its gills. But the shark that we've been looking at is just like our typical shark, right? And believe it or not, there are more varieties of sharks out there. And we're going to be able to chance to kind of compare one shark versus another shark. And that's actually going to be our regular shark versus our zebra shark. So we're going to put them right up next to each other to kind of get a better idea of maybe some similarities and differences between the sharks. And I'm a sucker for a good shark eye. So here we can go on ahead and just see some differences between the cute little button eye of our gray reef shark and kind of the cute little squinty eye right here of our zebra shark right here. So go on ahead, just take a minute and really get a feel for what are some similarities and differences between these two sharks. Some things that I noticed that are the same is basically that general kind of sharky shape, right? That it is kind of like starts out narrow, then gets kind of round and then small again. It's a little bit tricky to see on this shark, but it kind of does something similar. It has those pectoral fins. They're pointed more out and they're not so much down like they are for this shark here. That we think about a shark and it has that typical up down dorsal fin. And in this case, it's actually kind of curved back. And I'm seeing lots of swoopies on this shark. Are you seeing also swoopies on our zebra shark? Yeah. And something else I noticed too is the pattern and the color, right? Our gray shark, our gray reef shark, is very gray, right? There's like a little silveriness, a little whiteness. So they're kind of like different shades of gray, but it's basically gray. And if we go on ahead and we look at our zebra shark, I see lots of polka dots. I see dark browns and light browns and almost kind of a whiteness that's underneath here too. I know it looks blue, but that's just because of the lighting of the picture itself. And so it's a little bit white underneath. And something else I noticed too is actually, if you look behind this cute little squinty eye right here, is a little hole, a little circle. Now that's different than our other shark, right? I don't see any circles back behind this cute little button eye right here. But let's go ahead and let's explore that a little bit more. And let's see if we can get a close-up view of those gills that were pumping that we saw a little bit earlier. And if we go on ahead and we think about these pumping gills that we have right here, this hole behind the eye actually helps with that. And that's because that little hole is called a spiracle. And that spiracle actually pumps water from that hole into the gills, which is why we're seeing those gills move so very much. Because this shark, does this shark look like it moves around a lot? It's just hanging out in the bottom? No, not so much. It's a pretty lazy shark that likes to hang out and just sit a lot. And so those spiracles are a great adaptation, right? A feature on our animal that really help it to be able to breathe and to survive in the type of habitat that it lives in, which is closer to the sea floor of our coral reefs right here. That's a pretty cool feature for our zebra shark. Now, something else I do love about our zebra shark is her smile. And so we actually have a nice little close-up video of that smile of hers, and we can get a chance to see all those wonderful teeth of hers too. Oh my goodness. You can see all of those scales too on our shark. I forgot to mention those. Those sharks have special scales called dermal denticles. If we think about our epidermis, that's actually going to be our skin. And denticle, well, when we go to the dentist, what are we getting checked out on us? Our teeth, right? So dermal denticles just actually means teeth or skin teeth. So they actually have really rough skin that really helps to protect them. But aside from that, they also have a really cute smile right here. Remember how I was talking about nares, the part that sucks in all of those chemical cues from the water that help it to be able to smell but not really kind of breathe? Those are them right there. You can see one nair right there and then the other nair on that other side. But they also have this really cute smile with some of these teeth. Now, I actually have some of those teeth under our document camera that I would love to be able to share with you to get a better idea of what these teeth may look like. So here we have them, and I'm going to zoom in on just the top row right here. Actually, I prefer the bottom row. We'll wait for them. Woohoo! There we go. We'll keep on zooming. And I'm trying to focus. Maybe I'll go out a little bit and focus. Seem to be having a tricky time. There we go. I'll hold it down a little bit. All right, here we go. I'll hold it down for us. But here we can go on ahead and get a chance to see their teeth. Maybe I can enhance even more. There we go. So here we can see the teeth of our zebra shark. And they're pretty tiny, aren't they? I mean, they look big right now. But if we go on ahead and we look, that's my fingernail right here. Right? You can see how tiny those little zebra shark teeth are. I'm feeling them. I'm putting my finger over them. They kind of feel like Velcro, but they don't feel like they're sharp or anything. But what a unique shape that these teeth are in. What kind of shape do you notice? More triangles, huh? So these teeth are very triangular, and they're very tiny. And we can actually see lots and lots, I'm rotating it, in rows of these teeth. There's a lot of them, which is pretty incredible. So I'm going to zoom out to give you a better picture of what they look like. There we go. Sorry about the shakiness earlier, friends, but here we can go on ahead and really get a chance to see all the different rows of teeth that we have here for our zebra shark. And that's a lot. If I go on ahead and I try to turn that around, we can actually still continue to see, whoops, it made a noise at me. It's very angry. There we go. More rows and rows of teeth underneath. Wow, that's a lot of teeth for a shark. Now, our shark jaw is actually only about this size to give you an idea. It is quite small. And that's pretty amazing because our zebra shark is probably close to about like 10 feet long. So even though it is a very long shark, it actually has really teeny tiny teeth. And if we go ahead and we notice where the mouth is actually located, right, that can also help us figure out what it might eat. And so our mouth is not up top, it's not in front, it's actually underneath. So we can get an idea that this shark is eating things that are found underneath him, probably somewhere in the sand. And we could tell by these really tiny, sharp, little Velcro-y teeth that they probably eat something that's also small because of the size of their mouth. So on average, what these animals will eat crunchy things that are found in the sand. So things like shrimp or crab, something that's a little bit crunchy, but they can hold on to and really kind of dig their little teeth into. And that's going to be some of the foods that our zebra shark really tends to enjoy. But let's look at one that's completely different, which is going to be our white shark. All right. Now, I only have a partial jaw right here. I'm going to zoom out so you can get a chance to see it. And we can already see how different this looks. This is half of a bottom jaw of a white shark that we have right here. And so this is probably like of a teenager shark. And just to also give you an idea of the size, this is about, half of that bottom jaw that we have right there. The other half would probably bring it out to about here or so to give you a reference. Now, when we look at the front of the teeth here, you can go on ahead and zoom on in so we can get a better idea of that tooth shape. There we go. So here we have our teeth, and we can see already they're a little bit different. I know it's kind of white on white. Maybe I can put this eraser here so you can get a better view of it. And I can zoom in a little bit more on these teeth right here. And so we can see it's like one big triangle shape. And if we go on ahead and we look even closer, we might be able to see that they're kind of like serrated, right? That's what we use to think about like a lot of bumps on here. If you think about kind of like a butter knife or a steak knife for dinner, right? It's kind of have that same sort of pattern, that serration, which helps it to be able to cut through meat, which is actually what a lot of these white sharks really enjoy eating, are going to be things like seals and sea lions, because they're really big, powerful sharks that allow them, and their teeth allow them to be able to really kind of grab all those seals and sea lions. So here we can see that they also have rows of teeth. They're a little bit more flat. But eventually, when one tooth is lost, then another one will just pop right on up. Could you imagine how much money they get from the tooth fairy? My goodness, it's probably a lot. All right, friends. Our time is pretty much over, but I did want to share a nice little picture of a white shark. Also very happy. I do love their eyes. They have really cute eyes as well. But here we have just an idea of the size of a white shark. The biggest one that I think that's been on record is about 23 feet long. So they can get quite long and quite large, these animals. But, this picture really kind of gives you a better idea of the scale of maybe an animal that they're trying to eat. Maybe they're trying to eat a fish too. That definitely would be a nice little snack for our white shark here. But you at least kind of get an idea of where the mouth is also located, slightly underneath, but also kind of a little bit more forward, right? A little bit different than our actual zebra shark that was small and tucked in a little bit more too. So hopefully this gives you an idea of some of the different variations and different types of sharks that there are around the world. We've only had a chance to look into just a few of the 400 varieties that you can find here in the ocean. Thank you so very much for joining us and learning alongside about what makes a shark, and really kind of focusing in on some special sharks today. If you do have any other questions, we'd love to hear from you. Feel free to email us at live@lbaop.org. Thank you so very much, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.